Actually, this week we're going to work some submission stuff. We're going to start with some triangles this week. I'm going to show it from some different positions, how to get to it, and some, I guess, tricks of the trade to get your finish, make it a little tighter, up your percentage a little bit. Okay. We're going to start from closed guard. And all right, for this one I want to get essentially an overhook grip, and I'm going to talk about a couple different ways you can control this arm, to set this up. So whether I go up under here or whether I pull at his collars, my goal is to get him to put his hands on the mat. I'm going to utilize my hips to pull my knees in. Okay. So if I come up underneath, get him to put his hands on the mat, I'm going to loop that arm and just control his collar. Okay. From here, I just kind of post at his hand, his shoulder or at his bicep. Okay. I can control his head as well. Either one of those will work. I like to go, since I'm going to use it for my setup, just go to his bicep initially. No thumb, because I don't want him to pummel my hand. So he pummels on the inside, breaks that grip. If I'm holding this collar and I have my hand in here with no thumb, every time he moves I can kind of follow that, and hopefully I can keep it long enough to get my setup. All right, I'm going to extend my legs, shift out, and I can go to this side kind of closed guard, or, and for this particular technique, if I'm going to work like my chokes, I'm going to keep my legs closed. In this case, I'm going to put my foot on his hip and start pinching. All right, I'm using that to control his posture and move him over to that side. I'm controlling this bicep. All right, the next thing is I'm going to get my other foot on his hip. So I'm kind of have a clamp here. And then I'm going to take my hand and go from the bicep to the tricep and kind of hold it against my shin. All right, it's going to give me an opportunity to get a hold of his wrist. All right. One side note is if I decide that I want to go for the triangle, I'm not necessarily going to keep this collar grip super tight because it's going to limit my movement a little bit. So if I'm having a hard time getting on my side to create the angle, I might loosen this grip a little bit so I can have a little bit of real estate to play with. So when I'm in this position, I'm holding this against my shin. Okay, I'm just trying to keep this arm and make him fight to get it back. All right, my goal is to slide down and get to his wrist. Once I have that, now I can create more space. Out to the side, and get my foot on his bicep. Okay, once that happens, he's kind of stuck. All right, cross my feet, let this out, get to the shin, foot goes back to the hip, create my angle, get your finish. That's going to be your first item that you're looking for, is to get that foot on his bicep. All right, and we'll talk about other things you can do with when he's trying to avoid it. Here to the side, feet on the hips, have that clamp on him. Create my angle to the side, control. Okay, when I slide down to his wrist, I have the ability to always hip escape to make room. I can come back in, move out, get that foot to the bicep. All right, he's going to start to see that that's what I'm trying to do, and I have options. If while I'm doing that to try to create space, I'm trying to put my foot here, if he moves his arm to the inside here, I just want to keep control. So I have the wrist, moves it to the inside, stuff it, throw it over the top. Okay, I can pinch, switch to the shin. Always get this, because it's going to help keep him from stacking me right away. If he tries to stack me, it's difficult for him to get his head up at all. Foot to the hip, create my angle, get your finish. So I'm going to focus on trying to get that foot on the bicep initially. All right.
You're circling the outside of the bicep when you do that?
I'm going to put my leg in, put the foot on the bicep. If he moves his hand, if he pummels his hand to the inside of my leg, I will circle.
Could you do it?
Yes.
Put your touch in.
catch, okay? Shift my weight, okay? Go to his bicep, and get this clamp position. Now I can get more on my side. All right, hold it against my shin, slide to his wrist. First thing I really want is just to create space, put my foot on his bicep, start to square up, drop it over the top, okay? Once that happens, cross my feet, grab my shin, readjust, and then get your finish. If from this position I get his wrist, a hip escape, he starts to see me doing this, he goes to the inside, I could just push it in, drop over the top, okay?
Are you not worried, so his right arm, I guess, yeah, the one you're trapping with your left hand, you're letting go of that trap you have once you trap his neck. Are you not worried about him losing control of that arm? Or
Not at all. There's differences of opinion on this, so I'd rather just get the triangle, and I think if you have it set up right, you cut your angle correctly, if you manage their posture, you don't necessarily have to move his arm across, right? So I don't have to keep this. I'm not gonna be able to finish a triangle if I have this arm looped. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, just from a curious standpoint of trying to find another way to control the arm in the event.
There's other ways to control the arm. I'm gonna start with this,
Okay.
and I will show another way that we can utilize this overhook type control, but without controlling his lapel. I'll show that next.
Okay.
So again, break his posture, right? I could start with a grip here, but I don't have to keep that. I can shift my angle, get to the side here, and then I can loop and grab his belt if I can reach it. All right, and close my elbow here. That grip works as well, okay? So if he tries to pull his arm out, I'm kind of on the left, toward the left side or on my left here. I'm not reaching around to the other side, kind of on the same side by his hip. So it'd be his right hip in this case. It's very hard for me to pull this arm out. I'm gonna keep my elbow closed against my thigh. Right? I can use the same setup to get this position. Here, the top, here. If I get to his wrist, he's in trouble. Grab my shin, here, here. So all I'm doing, I'm gonna look for that overhook first when I break him down. If I wanted to, I can switch. So if I'm using my left hand, I might grab towards his hip here, if I can get it, if his belt's there, okay? I could grab the middle of his back, like the material, anything to hold it. I kind of like the collar grip only because you can chain a bunch of different techniques with it. All right, let's just start with the lapel grab. All right, so around above his elbow, and I'm gonna grab the lapel, keep that elbow closed so he can't get it out. And my focus is to make sure I create an angle. Let me do it one more on this side so you can see it. So up, break, wrap, control, just feed that lapel, okay? And then go to the bicep, shift, and I'm out on my side. Here I can put my foot on the hip, bring the other knee in, I have a clamp on him, all right? I'm kind of pulling that lapel tight, switch, get the tricep. All right, from here, as he's fighting, I'm working my way down to the wrist. Once I have the wrist, he's pretty much toast. All right, from here, create space, go to the bicep, lock it here, put that out, pinch, grab the shin, foot goes back to the hip. I want to make sure the inside of my knee is hitting against this neck. I don't want to be able to put my hand in between that space. So when I make my grip here, foot goes to the hip, everything is tight. I don't ever put my foot on the mat, he's gonna step over my leg. If that happens, I'm not gonna triangle. Here, super tight against his neck, pinch. Okay, always have your foot booted when you lock it up. Never any of this, it's giving him too much space there's too much space for the triangle. If this is here, pinching my knees together, the hole is much smaller for his neck. Okay? Any questions? All right, let's drill that. Once you get comfortable, pick up the pace of the setup once you have the movements down, okay? All right, get your partners.